In this video, we are going to clean up our Google Drive. This is something you may have done before, but I want you to stay with me because some kind of update that Google has made in the last couple of months does not allow you to move everything like it used to. So the first thing you're going to do is get to your Drive. You can do that however you have. I go to Google and click on those 9 little dots over at the top right-hand corner. It will pull up your Drive and it probably looks something like this, where if you scroll, you have lots and lots and lots and lots and things. So your goal is to get all of those things into a folder. Here's what we're going to do first. Well, I guess if you are not wanting to keep any of your things, let's say you don't want anything that's in here at all, what you are going to do is click on the first thing. It should turn blue. Scroll all the way down here to the very bottom. Push the Shift key and click on the last thing, and everything should turn blue. If you want nothing at all, you don't want any access to any of this anymore, you can do that and click on the trash can and it will delete everything that you've created. If, however, you want to keep things, you are going to create a folder. This is not really the time to go through all this and figure out which of these things you want to keep. You'll be able to do that part later. So here's what you're going to do to clean this up. You're going to click on New. You're going to click on Folder. You are going to name your folder whatever you want. I'm just going to call it Elementary. That way I don't have to figure out what goes where. I'm going to hit Create. And then we're going to start our process. The first thing I'm going to do is move this thing over because these are from elementary school, so that folder can sit in the elementary folder. Your goal when we're finished is you're going to have an elementary folder and maybe a middle school folder here, and that's it. Now, what Google will not let you do anymore is move all of the things if you did not create it, if you are not the original owner. So the way that we can kind of get around some of this is by going up here next to the I under the G Suite, there is a little table and it says List View when you hover over it. I want you to go ahead and click on that. What this is going to do is show a list of all of your assignments instead of the little pictures, okay? What this helps us understand is what you own, because as long as you own it, you can move it. So you will notice that all of these things here say me, 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 me. So we are going to move anything that says me into our elementary folders. Now, you can move each individual item. That's going to take a really long time. Click on the first one where it says me and scroll down to the first location where it's not owned by you. It was probably owned by your teacher last year. You'll notice this one is not owned by me, so I need to stop here. So I clicked on the first one. Now I'm going to hold down my Shift key and click on this one here. You'll notice everything that has turned blue says me. That means that I'm going to be able to move all of these things. After you've done that, you're going to go up to the top item, push your mouse button and hold it, and while you're holding it, drag it over the folder that says Elementary, and you may release it. And once you release it, it's telling the computer that you want all of those items to be dropped into that elementary folder. It may take a minute for those to drop depending on how many you had. So again, here you can see that I have from me, and then down here it has Ms. Morrison. So I'm going to click on the first thing that is me. I'm going to go down to the last thing in the row that's me. I'm going to push the Shift key, click with my mouse. Then I'm going to hold the mouse button down and drag over the word Elementary and let go. Your job is going to be to do that for all items that say me. Okay, so I'm going to do one more chunk, click on the first one, go down to the last one in this area because here's where a new owner is. So I'm going to push the Shift key and click on that. Then I'm going to drag this up over here into Elementary. Okay, so after you have moved everything that is yours into the elementary folder, you'll notice that you probably only have left anything that was created by your teacher or maybe you shared with a friend. If it was created by a teacher, you cannot put it in that elementary folder. I am not sure if you collaborated on something with a friend. You can try to go ahead and move it into that elementary folder if you want to and see what happens. If, however, you are not the owner of it, it is created by a teacher, and when you're finished, you shouldn't have 50 of these sitting here, but for right now, it should work. All you need to do so that you can become an owner of these is if you click on the first one, then go down to the last one, push that Shift key, and click again so that it highlights all of the things. So this one has 4, you might have 10, you might have 20. I don't know how many this will work for at a time, but it will work. Then you right click on your mouse down at the bottom right hand corner and it'll say make a copy. When you make a copy of a document, it transfers the ownership of that copy to you. And once you are the owner of the document, you can move those documents into the folder and then delete these ones down here. So now I have copies. There were 4 things that I was moving. There's 4 things here. So if I click on the first one, click on the last one, move that into my elementary folder, and then I go down here and click on these, I can delete them because I have a copy of all of these things in my folder now. If you want to try that with one before you do all of them and delete because you're nervous about that, go ahead and do that. So now you can see, I'm going to go back to the grid view because that's the view that I like the best. All that's here is my elementary folder. You may want to go ahead and also add a middle school folder. Oops. And then inside of that folder, you can create a 6th, 7th, 8th grade thing or whatever. But your goal is to keep your drive pretty cleaned up. Otherwise, things get really messy. You can always go back to your elementary folder later and update that. But as of now, that's not what you need to do. Okay. So that is how you are going to get your Google Drive cleaned out. And remember, that was that list view up here.